Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. First tonight, conversations around Tasmania's AFL bid are heating up. Senior power brokers have touched down in Hobart to narrow down where a potential new multi-million-dollar stadium could be. They're adamant all resources are being thrown at getting the 19th licence over the line.
He's Gillan McLaughlin's right-hand man, but today Travis Auld was taking the lead on the ground to help determine where a Tasmanian AFL team might feel at home.
State government, as far as I know, identified 6 potential sites, and so part of today's work is to narrow that down to hopefully 2 or 3.
Having now inspected Macquarie Point and Regatta Point, a final call on the perfect location is still in the pipeline.
A piece of work like this, a piece of infrastructure like this takes a lot of time to get to a point where we can recommend something through to the Commission and then through to the clubs.
Costings will make up the next part of the process, with decision makers confident they're throwing everything into the bid.
We've certainly got everyone focused on it, and so it won't be through a lack of trying. And as I say, there's a number of people at our end that are working pretty much full time on this.
The Sports Minister says an arts, entertainment and sporting precinct on the Hobart waterfront would be transformative, delivering significant economic and cultural outcomes.
We're very grateful for their interest. We know that there is growing support.
Unlike the South's current home of AFL, here at Blunston Arena, the league wants the new stadium over the river and close to Hobart's CBD for the best possible access.
To put a stadium on the doorstep of the city, and you see it in other states, and what Adelaide Oval, for example, has done for Adelaide.
But garnering support from the opposition could be harder than anticipated.
The AFL and the Tasmanian government are asking the opposition to sign a blank cheque and sign up to something that has no detail.
The game's future in the island state will be decided next month. Grace Evans, 7 Tasmania News.
COVID-safe measures like mask mandates could be temporarily reintroduced into Tasmanian schools this term if outbreaks appear. The state government says flexible options will provide cover against the virus, but according to the Education Union, the horse has already bolted.
Kids are set to return to classrooms next week, but it's the Education Minister who's been accused of failing to prepare.
Disruption to learning. That's what you'll see in Term 3, because the government is not ramped up, the Minister is not ramped up, and the horse has already bolted.
The union says the Term 3 Safe Schools plan doesn't grade well, believing it will cause stress for staff and students to miss school.
No, I don't think kids will wear masks if it's not mandated. They don't want to be the odd person out.
Some measures, like mask mandates, could be temporarily reinstalled at certain schools if there's an outbreak.
We're able to respond on a school-by-school basis, day-to-day or week-to-week, to respond to their particular needs.
We provide them with recommendations based on their outbreak management plans about mitigation measures to put in place.
Unvaccinated teachers were also said to return to the classroom. That move only put on ice when the AEU objected.
The benefits of any further level of vaccination for people who aren't currently vaccinated accrues more to them individually than to the workforce or the settings that we're in.
What has changed for that to occur? I don't think that the government has given a reasonable explanation for the change in policy.
Disability advocacy groups have expressed concern over unvaccinated teachers working with medically vulnerable students. Today, the Education Minister couldn't confirm if that had been considered, only that every staff member working with them would be wearing a mask. Labor also says the child vaccination rate isn't up to scratch, calling for in-school clinics.
A lot of parents that I've talked to that aren't getting their kids vaccinated is due to, in part, the government messaging. They're saying it's mild, I'm not going to worry about it.
4 COVID deaths today, a timely reminder to get vaccinated. Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmania News.
Rapid antigen tests will continue to be available to concession card holders despite the end of a federal scheme. The state government will step in to provide them at Service Tasmania branches. The same rules, such as eligibility and a limit of 10 tests over 3 months, will apply. An Indigenous artist has taken out this year's Hadley's Art Prize, the first female to claim the nation's most valuable painting award. Culture and history capturing the hearts of the judging panel.
She speaks in her native tongue, but her art transcends language. Indigenous artist Tuppy Goodwin has had a brush with fame, taking out this year's Hadley's Art Prize. She says she's a winner, but she's worked long and hard to be here. She's been waiting 20 years, making lots of paintings, big ones and small. A lot of hard work. She says she's very happy to be recognised and awarded this prize. Born in the bush in remote South Australia, her art undoubtedly imitates life. She says keeping Jakapura, which means witchetty grub dreaming, alive in her canvas. Every day she's painting Antara, a place of cultural importance.
We've been told that the artist often actually sings the Jakapura along with people, her family, her friends, as she's creating these amazing works.
Tuppy is the first female artist since the prize's inception in 2017 to take home the accolade, claiming the most lucrative landscape prize in Australia, worth $100,000.
Saving for, I get 3.
She says she thinks she'll save some of the money and share the rest with her family. She has 3 granddaughters. Everyone is happy about the prize. This is her first prize and first time with this much money. The judging panel says the decision was unanimous.
There's an exuberance and a freshness and power to the brush stroke.
It's a really striking, bold painting. It's just very powerful.
The prize also celebrates Hobart's art scene, putting Tassie firmly on the map, with 15 of the 35 finalists representing the island state. McKenna Bailey, 7 Tasmania News.
Action to restore the Tasmanian Law Reform Institute is being urged after the release of a damning report. Independent MLC Meg Webb says the report shows the institute makes a significant contribution to the state's legal framework, despite being chronically underfunded.
The report makes it really clear that both the state government and the university need to step up and commit to funding and resourcing the institute appropriately, to a significantly higher level than it has been in the past.
Both UTAS and Attorney General Elise Archer have promised to give the review careful consideration. The organisation's funding agreement expires in November.
Good evening. A familiar name in Tasmanian cricket will now lead the Hobart Hurricanes, with Jeff Vaughan appointed as the next head coach. He'll also remain in charge of the Tasmanian Tigers, promoting a one coach, two squad system.
Showing a united face, Tasmanian Tigers chief Jeff Vaughan now also taking on the same role for the Hobart Hurricanes.
I felt that Hobart and Tasmania is well suited to being a one-coach town, if you like, a one-coach state.
Ricky Ponting singing the praises of the former Australian assistant coach.
Highly skilled coach, very experienced coach now, having worked with Tasmania Hurricanes and with the Australian setup over the last 4 or 5 years. His people management skills are second to none.
Humbled and excited for the opportunity, really excited with the team that Rick has put together.
Vaughan sparing no time, setting the tone of what he expects out of his team.
I'm excited by what this group can bring, and at our level we're looking for small percentiles of improvement.
Darren Berry and James Hopes join as assistants and will lead the squad when Vaughan is on Tigers duties. Ponting also not worried about the team's placement as last to pick in the upcoming BBL Overseas Player Draft, saying other teams will be more focused on retaining existing talents.
Look, to be totally honest, it might actually work in our favour. It mightn't be such a bad thing. The player that we want might still be sitting right there at pick 8 anyway.
The Hurricanes will kick off their season against the Melbourne Stars at the MCG. Mark Zita, 7 Tasmanian News.
The Hawks will play their first game in Hobart against North Melbourne at Blunston Arena tomorrow. Defender Will Day says he's excited to play in unfamiliar territory.
I know for me and a handful of others it's our first time, and definitely majority of us haven't played here, so very excited.
Meanwhile, Hobart-born Roos midfielder Hugh Greenwood will celebrate his 100th game in front of his family and friends.
To hit 50 and then to hit 100, I've been very fortunate to get to this point. But it's been as you said, a bit of a journey across 3 clubs. But I'm certainly very proud to be here now.
And fans can travel to the game on a free ferry shuttle from the Brook Street Pier. Meanwhile, in the TSL, the Northern Bombers hope to bounce back to form after their loss to crosstown rivals the Blues. However, it won't be an easy task, set to face a Clarence side which beat Lauderdale by 3 goals.
bit of a mini final for us this week, so if we've got to make sure that we're on top of our game in terms of our effort at the contest, making sure we've got pressure around the footy, things like that, so we can stop the footy.
It's going to be an important game. I think every game towards the end of the season is quite important, but particularly when it's so close.
Clarence Stanley beat North Launceston by 8 goals in their round 11 matchup. Tasmania's under-21 women have been denied victory in a frantic fourth quarter against New South Wales in the Hockey Nationals overnight. Isabel Krumink and Lauren Canning had what would have been match-winning goals blocked by the keeper. The game ended in a scoreless draw. In the NPL, an evenly placed match is tipped for when Launceston City travels down to Wentworth Park to face Clarence. The Zebras hoping to capitalise on more chances following a narrow loss to Devonport last round.
We both match up pretty well against each other. If you have a look at the way results have gone, they've been on a good run. And we've obviously had a change with the coaching side of things in the last round and a few other bits and pieces.
Meanwhile, Clarence's women's coach, Adam Powell, admits it'll be an uphill battle against the top of the table, Launceston United.
If we play our best and don't, unfortunately, let in some silly goals, I feel we'll be very, very competitive.
We're all very happy with the way it's come together. We're a really close-knit group, like our best mates are our soccer mates.
And following on from the front bar last night, tonight's Friday Flashback tells the story of Alastair Lynch. 3 flags and Tasmanian Team of the Century membership capped off a remarkable career for Lynch, who even snagged the chance to open a Bunnings store in his post-playing days. Having started his career with good old Fitzroy, the Wynyard Livewire headed north to join the Brisbane Bears.
Lynch on fire!
These two worlds collided soon after when the clubs merged to form the Brisbane Lions. Lynch named as the new team's first co-captain alongside Michael Voss.
To be captain of a club such as Brisbane Lions at this stage of the development is an exciting time.
But his work behind the scenes was beyond what most players had to endure. Grappling with the mysterious chronic fatigue syndrome, Lynch landed in hot water when the drug prescribed for the condition, DHEA, was added to international sport's list of banned substances. He was eventually cleared of any wrongdoing and emerged as one of the game's most versatile and powerful players.
Lynch has the big wind-up. He goes for home with a massive kick!
But the number 11 became equal parts fabled, equal parts feared over 3 premiership years.
Should kick the first goal of the grand final. He has.
In 2001 against the Bombers.
He's kicked 2 goals forward. They've done it, but he's got the ball in his hands, Bruce.
Then in 2002 against Collingwood.
And he's put the Lions back in front.
And deja vu the following year. Clutching the cup was a happier memory than his swan song going out swinging in 2004's decider against Port.
Look at this! Lynch has swung 6 of the biggest punches I've ever seen in football!
He'd retire post-match, openly regretting the violent finale. But his contributions weren't overshadowed. He was named in the Tasmanian Team of the Century alongside mentor Peter Hudson.
I didn't think I was going to play reserves for Hobart back then, so to line up next to him in the Team of the Century is massive.
Before being on the tools in a different role, opening the brand new North Launceston Bunnings.
And they could buy everything under one roof.
A handy man on and off the field.
Good evening. Temperatures settled back above average today. Hobart and Burnie 13, Launceston 15 and Devonport 14 degrees. Strawn our warmest with 16. Smithton and the Bass Strait Islands 15 today. Friendly Beaches and Grove 14. St Helens, Low Head 13. Bushy Park 9 and Lyawini 5. The clearer conditions over the south today as cloudy weather due to an onshore flow affected the north. Plenty off the east and west coastlines. The large frontal cloud band is pushing its way across the Bight. Extensive cloud over the southeastern parts of Queensland and northern New South Wales. Tomorrow the cold front weakens as it approaches Tasmania. As another moves over Western Australia, the low off Queensland slides away a little. North to northeasterly winds at 15 to 25 knots, reaching 30 knots over the west, south and lower east. Strong wind warning has been issued for waters between Wineglass Bay and Stanley. Love Friday night's weather? Find out how great the weekend's going to be. This is not one of those Friday nights. Apart from Hobart, partly cloudy and 15. Showers nearly everywhere else. Maydena 13, 12 the top for Oatlands. Launceston tomorrow a high of 15 degrees with showers. Showers for Devonport 14 the top. Lyawini 2 overnight, 7 tomorrow and showery. Burnie the same, but 13 the maximum. 15 for Strawn with a shower or two. Marrawar showery 14 degrees. Showers in the east. St Helens 14, 15 for Swansea, Orford a top of 15 as well. On Sunday, showers contracting to the north in the afternoon. More showers on Monday, although only cloudy for Hobart. A little more wet weather on Tuesday, not so much over the southeast. 19 and showery for Perth tomorrow. Showers in Adelaide and Melbourne. Cloudy in Canberra. Showers on the way for Sydney. Partly cloudy and a top of 21 in Brisbane. Bit of cloud about at the moment too, 9 degrees in Hobart, 10 and mostly cloudy in Launceston, cloudy in Devonport, currently 12. Wet weekend coming up for quite a few areas of Tasmania. Kim, what do you think about that?
I think it's good for the daffodils. Thanks, Merv. And that wraps up tonight's bulletin. Thanks for joining us this week. Louise will be with you over the weekend. Good night.